Welcome everyone for the online course on Effective Communication Skills, Module 2, Lecture 2. Today we will discuss an important skill that affects our daily communication, that is articulation and clarity in speech. Before we begin about articulation and clarity in speech, let me discuss about the objectives of learning this lecture. The very first one, we will talk about the definition of articulation and speech, and you will understand the importance of clear articulation, followed by you can identify common articulation mistakes and correct them as well. Apply speech exercises to improve clarity and pronunciation. Finally, use articulation techniques in professional and social settings. Before we start, let me ask you a few questions. Have you ever struggled to be understood while speaking? Have you ever listened to a speaker whose words were so clear that you could understand everything easily? Have you ever watched a movie where an actor's dialogue was unclear, making it difficult to follow the story? All of the above examples of how articulation and speech impacts communication. Let me define the articulation and clarity in speech. As you can see on the slide, articulation, it refers to how clearly you pronounce your words, ensuring that each word is distinct, making sure the accuracy of speech sounds. And clarity in speech, it always concerns how easily your thoughts are understood by others. It is the ability to express the thoughts using spoken words in a way that others can understand easily. Both are essential for effective communication, whether in personal conversations, professional presentations, or in public speaking. I hope you must have got an idea of what is articulation and clarity in speech. Let's talk about why is articulation important. As you can see, it is important because it helps us to improve the clarity and understanding, and it aids in enhancing professional and social interactions. It helps to reduce misunderstandings and miscommunication, and finally, it boosts the confidence in social situations. For example, in a job interview, imagine you are interviewing for your dream job. If you say, I am really enthusiastic in a very unclear manner, the interviewer may not understand. But if you can improve your articulation and put the very same sentence in a very clear manner, say for example, I am really enthusiastic about this role. That gives a very professional sound to your vocabulary. One more example, if you are in a customer service and you say, thank you for your purchase in a very unclear manner, and the customer may not understand what you're trying to convey. Here comes the mumbling and there is no clarity in your thought. So making sure that the above four are incorporated in your words or the vocabulary, which makes your speech clear to the audience. Now let us begin the important or how to prove articulation or how to improve articulation or the keys or the key areas to improve articulation. There are about 4 key areas which are really important to improve articulation. The very first one, we focus on pronunciation. When it comes to pronunciation, saying words correctly is always advised, especially when it comes to the consonants, which are always often under articulated. So making sure that the consonants and vowels are pronounced correctly. The second key area is the pace. Speaking too quickly can jumble your words. So you have to make sure that you are speaking at a comfortable speed so that you will not jumble with your words or mumble with your vocabulary. And the third area is the volume. Volume ensure your voice is loud enough to be heard, but not so loud that it distorts your words. So you have to make sure that your voice is enough for the listener to understand. And the last one is the intonation. Using the tone and the pitch to express the meaning, it is always advised. Practice few tongue twisters to improve the diction and speed control. Record it to yourself, listen to the playback, and try to understand the intonation, the pace, pronunciation, and the volume that you are into while doing the tongue twisters. Now let's talk about the common mistakes while people do in articulation and also how to fix them. The very first mistake is with the mumbling. To correct mumbling, one has to open the mouth wider when speaking. Say for example, I do not understand what you think. When you have to say the sentence, making sure that you are not mumbled and you are at a very good speed, it is always advised to open your mouth a little wider to pronounce the words correctly. And the next element is speaking too fast. Too fast also makes to commit mistakes in articulation. Slow down and pause ideas. Slow down and pause between ideas. And the third one is the monotone voice. Monotone voice always bores the audience. It goes at only one pitch. So you have to use the intonation, the tone, the rising and a falling in your sentence to express the meaning. And the last element is about the weak pronunciation. Practice difficult words regularly to avoid weak pronunciation. Now let's talk about the role of clarity in speech. Clarity, it is all about how easily you pronounce the words and what kind of words that you choose when you pronounce the words. Clarity is always influenced by choice of words. Use the simple words and avoid jargon unless it is a common knowledge in your audience. Jargons are nothing but the words that are related to a particular field. Say for example, when you talk about a computer science field, we will have words like copy, paste, edit, cut. So these terms are connected only to computer science field. When you have to talk about a biology, the terms that we use in biology will be like photosynthesis, leaf, likewise and so forth. So those words are connected to biology. So we have to make sure to avoid the jargons to make the audience comfortable with our lecture or with our information or with our message. And the sentence structure. This is the third element in clarity. Try to make the sentence simple and short. Avoid complex sentences which confuses the listeners. So when it comes to clarity in speech, choice of words, sentence structure, these two things matters a lot to convey the meaning correctly to the audience. And now let's talk about the strategies for achieving clarity. The very first thing is organizing your thoughts. So making sure that what you want to convey, you have to organize it priorly before you talk. You plan it, give an outline, make a notes of your speech, structure it, and then you say it, wherein you can convey the thoughts accordingly. Always seek feedback after your communication. Ask the listeners whether they understood your message or not, and accordingly you adjust your communication process. The last one in achieving clarity is the discussion prompt. Share a time in the discussion board when a misunderstanding occurred. Because communication wasn't clear, how could the situation have been improved? So you have to make sure that after the discussion, you correct yourself, making sure your communication is clear enough to the audience. And how to overcome articulation and clarity, the challenges that we face in articulation and clarity. Many people face challenges such as anxiety, accent, and speech impediments, which affects the ability to articulate clearly. The very first technique to face the challenge of articulation and clarity is the relaxation technique. Practice relaxation technique before speaking to reduce anxiety. And the next um, overcoming challenge could be the accent reduction. If your accent makes it difficult for others to understand you, consider taking accent reduction classes. This will also help you to improve your accent and to comfort the audience. Key takeaways in lecture 2 on articulation and clarity in speech. The very first one is the articulation, how we can improve the confidence and communication, and practice daily with exercises like tongue twisters and reading aloud. And the third one, use spacing, volume and pronunciation for effective speech. Finally, seek for feedback, be self-aware, and these two things will help you to improve the articulation skill or refine the skill of articulation. We do have a practice exercise. Submit a video of yourself delivering a speech. This will be peer reviewed and you will have the opportunity to receive constructive feedback. Thank you, and we will meet again in lecture 3 on nonverbal communication. Thank you so much.